G'day, kids. Dad's back from the store with the milk and the cigarettes. How we doing, folks? Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to today's episode of To Be Advised here on the Law News and Laughter Network. For those of you who have no idea who the hell I am, I'm Hayden Glaister. I'm an attorney here in Melbourne, Australia. I occasionally stream at this time of the night when I do a regular show where we just look at the news of the week, the news of the day, some cases, some hearings, some laughter, all that sort of stuff, and the booze. Don't forget the booze. Yes, to be fair, I had to order out the booze tonight. That's a story for another few minutes. But anyway, that's not how the story normally works. Well, it kind of is at the moment, because as you're aware, the whole 4-hour drive round trip is really knocking me around. I am building up a tolerance to it, so at some point we will be back to...
Stingy said yay milk. I'm tired of dunking my Oreos in water.
Fair enough. Look, there's a reason why I'm doing the Traveling Lawyer series, because it's so that you guys have at least some content each day, and as much as I would love to be sitting here in front of the desk every chance that I get, it's just been tiresome. I'm not gonna lie, okay? I was concerned that I was burning the candle there at both ends. And so, I don't know, just during the week, I'm going to have to be a little bit more conservative with how many times a week I'm streaming at this time of the day. And I have no idea where he's getting the water from. I really hope that it's not... I really hope that's not toilet water. So, where are we? Thankful to you, Aussie, even if I can't be in chat, so listen. No worries, Alabama is. It's, you know. Be not effing believe. Oh, you can't be in chats. That's how spaced out I am. It didn't even twig. I read that message as exactly as you intended it. So, don't stress. Is burning the wick at both ends a sex thing? No. Burning the wick at both ends... See, the sex thing is you burn a single low temperature wax burning candle and mix it with the ice sensation or whatever it is. Like, never got into it personally because I don't believe... I can't understand how anyone would gain enjoyment from being burnt. So, 15-minute check-ins are better than an exhausted, dangerous driver. This is true. So, and I'll be perfectly honest, you do have the Labrador to thank for this particular stream, because I was passed out on the couch, honestly. And I know I promised to stream tonight, so here I am. I didn't even bother doing the hair. Oh, thank God Aussie deciphered it perfectly. You're all good. You're on the internet way too damn much. That's fine. There is nothing wrong with that, honestly. It is midnight on Saturday. Thankfully, it is a long weekend this weekend, so I'm hoping I can get in a little bit of extra sleep, get in a little bit of extra streaming, get some... What I want to do is try and get some best ofs clipped together again. I haven't got any more of those in the... saved up in the bank, because I've used the ones that I had previously, so that at least if I have to, whatever, at least you guys can... That Medita Fin is the menu of things that you can buy using your $bucks. And there's a whole bunch of new things compared to when that menu was originally done. So, and Jakey the Buck, thank you for what you do, Rolert. You're very welcome. Someone did say that it seems like I managed to find a new niche out of desperation, which... I've got no issues with it. I mean, it's surprising when there's still...
Do it! Just do it!
It's surprising that, you know, that I can still get up to 100 of you guys watching watching me drive home, so... Burning the candle at both ends is putting too much fire sauce on your Taco Bell. This is true. Oh, God, yeah. I know this is an addictive substance, okay? I'm acutely aware of that. I'm also acutely aware that it has a 0.5 health star rating, but
I'm gonna come.
sometimes you just got to do what you do.
I'm gonna come.
That's what Maritime Monday was. Okay. How many? I don't think there was a button stuck there. Can't try watching someone else do is all I can. 100 live, you'll find it's even some degenerates watching afterwards. Yeah, which, yeah, for some reason that bugged out. I don't know why. I updated the streamer bot, what was it, Monday before I went live? And it's been a little bit screwy since, so. Speaking of coke, Aussie, Houston cops stole cocaine and blamed it on the rats in the evidence locker. Yep, we covered that the last time I streamed, I think. Got you 3 things. One guy's motion pisses off a judge. Bombshell lawyer news in court. An Oklahoma senator stopped an axe dummy. One of the videos you sent me this week, Stinge, we covered the last time around I streamed. But aside from that, I'm more than happy to have a look at whatever else there is. One thing that I do want to talk about once my brain actually kicks into gear is that, well, I mean, it's Australia Day tomorrow, my time, anyway, now that it's past midnight. And you just sent all 3 yesterday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of them had already been put out by another channel, but look, doesn't matter. We've already had the little rat bags and degenerates out destroying Australian colonial memory memorials. What the hell do you call a statue that's in commemoration of someone? Honestly, I'm so freaking tired. But I'm here, people, and I'm trying. It's what I do. We've had, so I believe it was up in Ballarat, two statues of previous prime ministers have been decapitated. One of Captain Cook's already been like just destroyed with paint, and like I'm over it. I really am. And then I saw that yesterday day before yesterday on the news that Jacinta Allen, our prime minister, our premier here in Victoria, the equivalent of a governor, came out saying that she felt that protests in favour of Australia Day would be quite disgusting because they're planning on hosting them at the Australian Open. Now, admittedly, the Australian Open is a hard to manage event at the best of times. It creates chaos in the middle of Melbourne because Rod Laver Arena and the other stadiums are pretty much right in the heart of the city, and it causes traffic chaos because everyone's trying to get there and all that sort of shit. And you know what? Let me just pull up the video. Hang on. It pissed me off because there are 2 different protests planned. One is pro-Invasion Day, so pro-Aboriginal, cancel Australia Day, we don't want whites here, all that sort of shit. And she didn't really say much about that at all. But she specifically targeted the supporting Australia Day one, which... and then she reckons she comes out saying that it's okay. Hang on.
Joining me is Victoria's new opposition leader, Brad Batten. Brad Batten, thank you so much for joining me. This anti-Australia Day protest on Sunday, it seems to include a march on Melbourne Park just when the men's final of the Australian Open is on. What should be done?
Well, as we know, Andrew, at a time we should be sending a message to the entire world that we're open for business. This is, again, another small group of protesters who want to send a message that we're closed. What can be done? We need to ensure that we have the move on laws to protect the places and events like this. We should be able to have clean, open access for any person that wants to attend the tennis without being interfered with. But most importantly, These protesters should be staying home. Businesses have been smashed. Hospitality has nearly died in Victoria, particularly in Melbourne during COVID. And now we need to make sure that they get this opportunity to create jobs, build the next generation of employees. And the only way you can do that is ensure that the laws are there to move people on and keep the streets open.
Well, I think something needs to be done because you can't appeal to their good conscience because they're clearly not going to listen. This protest, though, I mean, we could also stop encouraging it with taxpayers' money. This one, though, is being encouraged by the First People's Assembly, which is funded by the Victorian government. Taxpayers' money. What should be done about that?
Yeah, this is a time for Jacinta Allen to come out and tell every person in Victoria that we are 100% backing having Australia Day, and she should actually condemn any one of her departments that's coming out saying not to celebrate or to have a rally at the biggest event here in our state. This is going to be telecast worldwide. We want people to look at this and go, wow, I want to come to Melbourne. I want to go on a holiday there. I want to spend money, build our economy. But at the same time, we've got an organisation funded by the Allen Labor government who are saying, no, let's have a rally in protest. And we know there'll be a lot of political ideology at these protests. It won't be just anti-Australia Day. Everyone else who wants to have their dig and get their face on the media.
Which is true, because, I mean, there's already been calls that some of the people that have been doing, because I think for like every weekend for the last however long, there's been pro-Palestinian rallies, there's been you can't really have a weekend in Melbourne without some sort of like protest over something bringing traffic to a standstill. And at this point, they're all just like, what they say? They're standing in solidarity of one another and all this sort of shit. And it's like, excuse me. Yeah, okay. All right. Whatever. Sucks that Australia Day has been politicised. Yeah.
About topics that they think are important will be in that protest. And I'm worried then that you're going to end up with violence and we're going to end up with the wrong image of what we should be proud of here in our state.
If not, excuse me.
It seems to me stunning that you've got the Victorian government spending a lot of money to, promote the Australian Open, but also then funding an organisation that's holding a rally that's threatening it. I mean, it's just amazing. But
well, it's not only that, AP. I mean, and there was a guy earlier in the week calling for basically a communistic redistribution of Australian wealth to Indigenous Australians as reparations and all that sort of stuff. And he was talking about how, Australia was built off the back of slavery and all this sort of stuff. And I'll be perfectly honest. I feel like he had his head in an American history textbook instead of an Australian one because, dude, the first slaves were white convicts. But we can get into that. This is different from Anzac Day. Yes, so Anzac Day, Australian New Zealand Army Corps Day, is one of our versions of Memorial Day. We have Anzac Day and we have Memorial Day. Australia Day is our, I want to say close enough to 4th of July, but no, well, the irony is, Seed Fan, there was originally like the convicts on the First Fleet, and there were still people that were being sold into slavery for a long time there. And that's what really irritates the hell out of me. As far as I'm concerned, sorry should have ended as soon as the last person that it affected. I mean, I don't think that I'm not 100% sure that there's a person alive at this point that either did or was on the receiving end of anything that happened in the establishment of Australia. Yeah, exactly. Intergenerational guilt tripping doesn't fix the past. Exactly.
Principle, the First People's Assembly. Now, this is Victoria's version of The Voice. It's a kind of Aboriginal-only advisory parliament, but elected by just 10% of Victorians who identify as Aboriginal. So, to me, it's hardly representative of anything at all except radicals. If you become Premier, would you scrap this race-based parliament?
We've already said that we would scrap the treaty. We've been very strong on that and we'll continue that message. And when it comes to the First People's Assembly, we know that we're first as a priority, Andrew, I think it's only fair we meet with them and have a discussion about what they say is their priorities moving forward. But we believe very strongly that Victoria has a great democracy which elects the people in the parliament behind me now, and that should be the voice of all Victorians. We are very proud of the work that
Okay, no, I'm going to have to argue with you on this, okay? You can call it what you want. They were still sent here and effectively forced to do work in order to establish the country. I don't care if they were convicts or not, okay? Semantics is all that is.
every one of our members does, dealing with their communities, working with their communities, identifying issues and delivering for everyone across the whole state. And it should be done in the parliament, which was set up here to ensure everyone is heard. So our view is very much that the Victorian Parliament is a place for all voices. That's where everybody should be heard here in the state.
Can't fault that principle. It seems to me you are edging towards scrapping it, and the sooner that's done, the better. The end this two-race business. Brad Batten, thank you so much indeed for your time.
All right.
That wasn't even what I really wanted, but anyway. Where the hell are you?
Joining me is Victoria's new opposition leader, Brad.
Oh, for crying out loud. No?
So, firstly, let me be clear. In terms of VicPol have the tools and the powers and resources that they need to deal with any protest that occurs at any time of the day. At any time of the day. And I want to be clear that I support the right to peaceful protest. I think all Victorians support, many Victorians support that fundamental principle of the right to protest, but the right to protest peacefully. And what is testing, though, what we are seeing is really testing the public's patience, is this behaviour at particular locations and a particular set of behaviour by some protesters. And so what I've been advised by Victoria Police is that in terms of any protest activity on this coming weekend, that Victoria Police will be there in large numbers. They will be there in large numbers, and should any protest activity turn violent, they have the powers to arrest, they have the powers to move on people. But it shouldn't come to that. It shouldn't come to that. And I think the public patience is being tested by a small number of people who are ignoring that fundamental principle that comes with a right to peacefully protest, is to respect that right and to respect the difference of opinion in our community. So Victoria Police, I'm advised, will be there in large numbers and will be moving to arrest should any protester turn violent. Sorry?
You know what? What I want is the 9 News video from last night. Where is... Big headlines. Okay, that's that dipshit.
Good evening. The Premier.
Here we go.
Premier has blasted protesters threatening to picket Sunday's men's final at the Australian Open as disgusting.
Businesses and community leaders have also voiced their anger and frustration over mass Australia Day demonstrations they fear will choke the heart of the city. Stephanie Anderson has today's developments.
It's a date that's long divided, but this year city businesses fear January 26 will deliver supersized disruptions.
Enough is enough. Everyone has a right to express their views, but you're impacting the rights of businesses to go about their everyday trade, businesses who are just trying to have a livelihood.
Aren't we?
I really didn't like that. When I first heard that, I'm like, yeah, sweetheart, you understand that that's the whole point of a protest, is to disrupt and make people pay attention and notice. Like... Did you do social studies and civics in school? Probably not, because I'm pretty sure they removed it. So...
Trying to get people back in the city. I think it would boost their business. Everyone needs a drink.
Up to 30,000 people are expected to gather outside State Parliament on Sunday for the Invasion Day rally. They'll march down Burke Street and along Swanston to Fed Square, while a pro-Australia Day rally is planned for outside the AO at Melbourne Park.
Now, don't get me wrong, as far as I'm concerned, the pro-Australia Day one, organised at the tennis, is purely to garner as much international attention as they can, to show that, you know, there are patriotic Aussies that just want to enjoy frankly, the day off at this point. But yeah, they call it Invasion Day, so...
I think it would be disgusting to target the Australian Open, and that would really break, I think, the patience of the public.
Businesses agreed.
No, you know what breaks the patience of the public? It's when you pick sides like that, which is kind of disgusting, if I'm honest. Didn't I just say, oh my God, my brain is not firing.
That patience is wearing thin and the financial impact is adding up. Pro-Palestine rallies have been a weekend regular in the CBD for months, and those groups are expected to be among the numbers this Sunday.
We welcome solidarity with all Australian citizens.
Victoria Police will be there.
If you welcome solidarity with all Australian citizens, why can you not just come under the banner of Australia, support the Australian flag, support the Aussie way of life, rather than dollars? That's right.
There in large numbers. Should any protest activity turn violent, they have the powers to arrest, they have the powers to move on people.
It's never been violent in the past. I have never known an Aboriginal rally to have any violence.
But on a long weekend where all eyes are on Melbourne, there's serious concern our reputation will take a hit.
We've got the biggest tennis final in the world in our own backyard. And what are we seeing? Protests being organised to embarrass our state and embarrass our nation.
We as the First Peoples of this country, all we want to do is be heard.
And Stephanie Anderson joins us live now from Flinders Street. Steph, police promising to be out in force.
Yeah, they are, Tom. In a statement today, Victoria Police say they have been extensively planning ahead of Sunday, and they don't anticipate those two rallies to actually cross paths at any point. While there is expected to be a big crowd here in the city, less than 100 people are forecast to attend that rally outside Melbourne Park. But regardless, extra resources will be right across the city, including officers on horseback and bikes. Traffic is also likely to be disrupted, along with tram routes, as crowds move through the city. So anyone heading in here is urged to plan ahead and allow plenty of extra time to get to where they want to go, Tom.
All right, Stephanie Anderson there.
Because because they call themselves the first people as opposed to the first Australians, and I think that's the delineating difference there, is because, I mean, obviously Australia didn't exist until Australia as a concept didn't exist until it was established, and so it was more First Nations of the land, and I don't think anyone can really dispute that. So ancestors to be horrified by this BS. Yes, protesting just a protest. So, but anyway, same thing for the United States. Didn't exist until the founding fathers created it. Yep. So, but yeah, so I myself, frankly, on Sunday will be enjoying a cold beer and throwing a shrimp on the barbie, frankly. Celebrating my country, celebrating the way of life that I aspire to. So it's not like New Zealand where the Maoris eat the natives. Jesus. Hey, Jaggers Proud Marjorie's in the house. Hello. That actually, while we're on the subject of Australian patriotism, did anyone else see the video? Oh, did I not? Oh, no, it was on YouTube. That's why. I bookmarked it on YouTube. there was some Australian influencer that apparently went viral for taking a crack at America for gun culture, and then some massive American YouTuber clapped back at her. And I'm just like, I kind of feel like I need to do a response to that. Because it feels important to do so. Shit, where are we? Here we go.
Whenever I see an American Whenever I see an American freak out over the fact that their friend owns a Pew Pew, I am just so confused. Because I genuinely thought you all had them. Like, I thought it was at least one per household. This is how you're perceived by the rest of the world, by the way. Like, we just assume that in America, everybody or their brother or neighbor or somebody has a Pew Pew. I expect to walk into a room and everybody in there is low-key packing, and at any point they could whip one out and just start a Pew Pew fight. And I'm just like, whoa, fuck, I thought this was a Starbucks. I remember
Okay. Let's start by saying, firstly, this bitch does not represent the entirety of Australia. This to me is someone that is entirely uneducated on international concepts, cultures, anything like that, and someone that's been suckling the teat of mainstream media her entire life. Let's be very clear. Look, there is this perception, and I'm not going to lie, because she is right there. There is a perception in the international media that a good chunk of Americans are gun-toting rednecks, okay? But for the fact that this chick didn't go out of her way to do any sort of research before spouting her mouth off like this is really disappointing and, frankly, a little bit disrespectful to even the fact that she is representative of Australia at this point. And it's very disappointing. You like that perception? Fair enough. Americans do nothing to dispute the theory. Well, I think the difference is that, I mean, had I not interacted with Americans myself, had I not learnt certain things, I'd probably have a very similar opinion to this chick, but that doesn't make it any better. There's nothing wrong with being a gun-carrying redneck. It's the negative perception that the international media puts on America, and I do genuinely believe that there's a certain three-letter organization that may be responsible for that. The pew-pew-toting rednecks is where I live. Well, there you go.
thing in social studies class growing up, and we watched a video about back in the day that you could open up a fucking bank account over there and they would hand you a complimentary Pew Pew to say thanks for that, mate. So many people I know.
Now, what I understand is that that's true. Because the American influencer is going to clap back at that, and apparently that's true. They did that back in the 70s or whatever, as a sign of trust with customers, and I actually think that's fucking badass, personally. But sweetheart, they actually did something very similar here in Australia as well. So, like, don't give a rat's ass what anyone thinks, not leaving my life for this month's approval. No, this is very true. Guys, just hear me out on this. I'm not reacting to this in order to smooth over or, like, ease anyone in America, okay? This is because I personally feel like she's besmirched the Australian reputation, and I feel they need to clap back at her about it, okay? Assume every American's armed. I know that's not true, but surely it's to be safe, the safest, most logical thing to assume. I would agree with you on that, Coke Fairy. To be frank, in certain instances, it makes me feel far safer when I'm traveling there, so. How many nose rings before you declared mentally incompetent? Yeah, I did see that. That's a little bit, you know. She's besmirching your reputation. Why do you let pretty girls like this ruin their bodies with nose rings and bad tattoos? Because they have significant body issue. Sorry, not body. They have significant daddy issues, and they do provide a certain demographic with. Oh, screw it. They become fuck toys for middle-aged men that are in midlife crises. So, I can't really do anything about it because the men in power just keep it. So exactly, every Aussie has a huge knife, like the American has a 9mm on them. And yeah, the American guy does have a response to that.
Myself included, are too scared to go over to America purely because of the lack of pew-pew regulation. It is...
Okay, and the fact that she says she is too scared to travel to America because of lack of gun regulation? Bitch, we had a mass shooting event in Melbourne 2 days ago that got next to no news coverage. And I should specify that the mass shooting, the mass pew-pew stuff that we hear about in the news, that they keep saying, oh, there's always mass pew-pew incidents going on in America. Yeah, the definition is if 2 or more people get shot. Okay? I have started keeping track of the ones here in Australia so that I can mention it to the wife as to how periodically and how frequently it happens, and it gets swept under the rug.
Torin3 said, I hope your Valentine's will be nicer than mine. I've got a 90 minutes MRI scheduled. I will be working on your braid design this weekend.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Torin, and good luck with the MRI. So... yeah, that's what I'm saying. It barely made the news because they don't want people hearing about it. But oh no, as soon as there's a knife attack, as soon as there's whatever else, because guns are already regulated. Australia's supposed to be the safe country because we already have gun regulation. Criminals don't care about gun laws. No, of course not. This is most people, hot takes on places that they never were and the people they never met. Yeah, exactly. And the fact that she's sitting there going, oh, I'm too afraid to go to America. All that shows to me is that you have never stepped outside your own privileged little bubble, and you have never even given a shit about anything beyond daddy's plastic or when you are next going to be getting a facial, in my personal opinion. So... America doesn't want her, just saying. Yeah, highlighting gun violence proves it didn't work. Exactly. That's the point.
Insane to me that you guys don't realize how insanely you're perceived by the rest of the world these days. Like, you're not land of the free and the brave. You're land of the fucking afraid and feared. Good luck.
And that is a quote that sticks with people. And it's bullshit. But I will give her credit for the fact that that is the impression that is being pushed by certain mainstream media companies. Be afraid, lady, be very afraid. We know how we're perceived. It's on you for believing the media, dumbass. Exactly.
America.
All right. Let me get...
So here we go. And this is where things get a little bit fun, because I like this guy, and hopefully he's not going to strike me for responding to his own damn video. But I kind of want to say a few things about what he says too. If the media had stopped focusing on all the bad stuff and giving them attention, it would help. Never going to happen, for the simple fact that it keeps people divided, and it keeps people placated and complacent. So... as long as you stay from inner cities, stay away from inner cities, you're fine.
Get this straight. So some girl from Australia just called us the land of the afraid and the feared. I mean, damn. I wasn't expecting the entire Outback to throw shade today, but here we are.
To be fair, not the entire Outback. She's just a ditzy... words that I'm not allowed to say on YouTube, who clearly didn't do her own research or pay attention to, I don't know, social studies properly.
Let's break this down because this is going to be fun. First off, let me get this straight. America is the most powerful country in the world. We ain't sitting around worried about how other countries perceive us, especially when it comes to guns, because we have all the guns. It's like...
I loved that when I first heard that. Good. Ditzy nose ring it. That's a good way of putting it.
Being a heavyweight champ of the world, you don't lose sleep over the opinions of featherweights. And according to...
Hey, Rachel. Love the content? Fantastic. Well, feel free to hit the like button. Appreciate you being here. Faux beef with Australians now. That's the sort of thing. And like, well, she doesn't care. He just wants to talk to people she just wants to talk to people without proper info and people believe her idiocy. Yeah. Yanks are feared by damn near every non-Western nation and they're afraid as hell of Russia and China. Okay. Everyone's a featherweight compared to the Wisconsinites. This is true.
Miss Crocodile Dundee here. She's confused because she thought every single American had a gun, like it's a national starter pack. A cowboy hat, a Ford F-150, and a Glock 19. Hate to disappoint you, mate. But we're not all walking around like John Wick on Casual Friday. Sure, a lot of us own guns, but it's not like there's a national mandate to keep one in the drunk drawer next to the ketchup package, even though it's something I advise. But that's neither here nor there. Now, let's talk about this opening a bank account and getting a gun thing. First of all, that sounds like the most American promotion ever.
I agree, and it is based AF. And like this guy says, it happened back in the 70s. Now, I haven't been able to go back and check when because there was some crazy Australian ones as well when they were trying to promote bank accounts for like the Commonwealth Bank and that sort of thing. So for one of our major banks, they were actually allowed into schools at a very young age and, you know, promoted kids opening their own bank accounts at like the age of 6 and shit like that. And they try all sorts of things to coerce people to open accounts. I think handing out guns, again, is based AF. So...
And I'm kind of mad it's not a real thing right now. Like, imagine going to Wells Fargo for a savings account and walking out with a Remington 870. Sign me up. But let me hit you with some history, Miss Down Under. That actually happened in the 70s. If you want the receipts, Google 1970s bank promotions with guns. Banks gave out guns as a sign of trust. It's like getting a toaster, but way cooler.
I agree.
You're too scared to visit America because of guns?
No, she's too She's too scared to visit America because I don't think she'd qualify for a freaking passport because she wouldn't be able to find out her daddy's real name for the form. Admittedly, she can still use mummy's, but no, this was purely for clicks and shit like that, as is being said in chat. Either that, or she really is just uneducated on international policy, on international events and current affairs. So, no.
Like, Australia is home to spiders the size of dinner plates. Snakes that can kill you just by making eye contact. And oh yeah, crocodiles that casually eat people. But it's America that's got you shaking in your boots. Hell, I'd be more worried about stepping on a jellyfish or getting kicked in the chest by a kangaroo than walking into a Starbucks over here. And this whole idea that everyone's just randomly whipping out guns like it's a shootout in a Quentin Tarantino movie, yeah, that's not exactly how that works.
Which is kind of disappointing. And I'm not going to lie, my time at the gun range in Texas was probably some of the most fun that I had while I was in America. And, forget the Glocks and that Austrian tactical Tupperware. Get the 1911s, true American muscle. What was I going to say? Shit. The problem is that mainstream media outside of America shove it down our throats that guns are something to be feared, that are something to be demonized and something to be terrified of. And that it's not the people pulling the trigger that you're supposed to be afraid of. Now, I made the comment on X a few weeks ago about, you know, the whole... It kicked off the whole thing about whether or not Lady Overlaw'd and I were moving to America, when I was talking to her about how often there is gun violence in America compared to how often there is other forms of violence and crimes here in Australia. And it was scary that the level of yeetings is more or less proportionate on a per capita basis. It's just that in America, fine, okay, a certain figure of them occur with firearms. Here in Australia, it's knives. It's all sorts of other instances. And then, you know, then you had the old Australian chiming in saying, well, you know, I'd rather be here in Australia and not have to worry about sending the kids to school with a bulletproof backpack or whatever else. I'm just like, for fuck's sake, not only did you miss the point of what I was saying, but the idea is that, oh, you know, the crime still happens. It is still the people, it is still the morons behind the act. Aww. Hello. How is ya? Hello. There's not a lot of places in the US that are actually dangerous. Exactly. You need a knife-proof backpack. Like, so, kids never been in a school shooting. It's more rare than you know. That's the thing, Swamp Bear X. And like that's when you actually look at the statistics, when you look at the data, when you look and understand it, you realize that the crime statistics are so similar that you realize that taking the guns away doesn't change the incidence of the crime. It just changes the method. And so really anyone making that argument to me just seems uneducated because they've never bothered to look at the statistics, and all they've done is accept what has been fed to them through the media. So just had a dreaded school shooting. The media's already dropped the story. Demographic doesn't fit the narrative. Oh. Ooh. Do we need to remind me that a gun is not going to randomly pew-pew someone? It's a person. Exactly. Yep. Bullying is epidemic here. The kids don't need guns to hurt anyone. No, absolutely not. And with certain demographics that have been imported over the last few years, machete crime and knife crime and sword crime and basically just breaking and entering as well has become so much more of an issue. It will randomly pew-pew someone once they get it ChatGPT enabled. Exactly. If people want to commit crimes, they will find a way. Exactly. Media sensationalize things, falsely exaggerate the amount of things that earn a buck, panic mongering. Yep. Law-abiding citizens who own guns obey the law. It's a criminal that doesn't obey the law that's the problem. And here, even here in Australia, they're the ones that are still finding their way to get their hands on them anyway. So... Stop teaching problem solving, started giving participation trophies, and now folks can't cope. It's a good way of putting it. Yep. So.
There's no secret handshake where we all pull out our guns at the same time and yell, pew pew fight.
I'm not going to lie though. I kind of wish there was at a paintball, like during paintball or airsoft. That would be freaking hilarious. Everyone just randomly walking around talking, and then someone drops the word and then... Can you imagine these soft ass kids today if they had nuclear drills to have under the desk? Yeah. What? Why am I diving under the desk? My TikTok's not working. What's going on? It's almost as if criminals don't care about the law. Who could have seen that one coming? Not lawmakers or law enforcement. Did I watch the Fox video? Probably not. I haven't. There's a lot of things that have been sent to me over the last week that I just haven't looked at. I'm sorry, fam. Until I get a handle on things, you can expect a lot of things to go by the wayside. I do apologize, but it is what it is. I was actually shocked my kid's school had a water gun fight last year for last day of the school year. Oh yeah, no, because they don't even allow like those kind of projectiles. And you know what the hilarious thing is? Lady Overlaw'd was so anti-gun for a long time that she was pissy that I had Nerf guns in the house. Thankfully, I have slowly over time sort of like explained a few things, and now even little Lady Overlaw'd I got her first Nerf gun for Christmas. So, and school's cancelled or delayed for cold weather. Exactly. And frankly, I'm starting to feel like some of these kids need to walk the 5 miles to school, back and forth, whatever else. So, propaganda really do be effective. Yep.
I've been to a lot of gun ranges, and trust me, the only time you see that much pew-pewing is when someone's trying to clear a malfunction or something. But seriously, this video does highlight something interesting. The perception of American gun culture outside the US is wildly exaggerated.
This is
People
true.
think we're all sitting in rocking chairs on the porch with an AR-15 across our lap, waiting for the Amazon delivery guy to show up. That's not reality. The truth is most gun owners are responsible, law-abiding citizens who take their Second Amendment rights seriously. Now, the whole land of the afraid and fear thing, let's be real. You're only afraid of America because you don't understand it. It's like me trying to understand Vegemite. It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. Look, the simple fact of the matter is Vegemite came about as an accident. It's weird. It's just part of culture now. And, like, there's not really anything we can do about it. It's a yeast byproduct from creating beer that was scraped off and put on bread, okay? It was for a bunch of drunks, let's be honest, okay? Yes, Vegemite can kill. We have a hands down our pants Al Bundy style waiting for Amazon to come. Well. Oh, all right. Hang on. Give me a second. I think I need to go and check something. And we're back. Sorry about that. Alrighty. So, yeah. So, long story short, the point is, I can understand why people don't understand Vegemite. I've got to be in the right I've got to be in the right headspace for it, and the toast's got to be cooked properly as well, so.
Can't even say it correctly. But I'm not going to cancel my trip to Sydney over it. Guns are part of our culture, just like, I don't know, Foster's beer commercials are part of yours. Oh, wait. Yeah, I don't even drink Foster's.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Nah, can't do it.
Which is exactly my point. Not everything you think about a country is true. So here's the deal. If you're ever brave enough to leave the safety of your crocodile-infested backyard and visit America, let me know. I'll take you to a gun range and I'll show you what gun culture really is about. Spoiler alert, it ain't about fear. It's about freedom and responsibility, and okay, maybe just a little bit about having the coolest pew-pew on the block. But at the end of the day, it's about freedom. And that's what we prioritize in this country. You may prioritize other things in your country, and your country may prioritize other things. But here in America, the US, we prioritize freedom. We prioritize giving the people the power to check their government. We as people...
Which, I'm not going to lie, with the way that the Australian government's going, shit's going to go down soon anyway, so... But at this point, it's just going to be a bunch of people marching on Parliament House in Canberra and no one giving a fuck. I'm starting to half believe that's why Canberra was put where it is, so that it wouldn't matter if anyone marched on Parliament.
We just understand the importance of freedom. We understand the importance of being able to check our government if it decides to become tyrannical. That's what us having firearms is about. It's about us being able to defend ourselves against people who may threaten us or our family. So, as fun as it may be to make fun of American gun culture,
And to be fair, like I said, American gun culture to me is something, it's an entirely different kettle of fish to what anyone receives in terms of a perception. Because, I mean, this shit gets taught in Australian schools, or it did when I went through school, okay? And I think to a certain degree it is in order to keep America in a negative light, frankly. But shit's got to change, and I think the internet as a whole has I think the internet as a whole has led to a certain change of that perception, but it is a hell of a lot different visiting, walking on the hallowed ground that is America, enjoying the First and Second Amendment rights while you are there. It makes a hell of a difference. And you dipshits like this woman just prove the necessity for international travel, to experience cultures for yourself, rather than just forming opinions based on the media, what you see on the internet, and what you're willing to say for clicks.
At the end of the day, what's really funny about the fact that we can protect ourselves, you can't.
He ain't wrong. Yep. Don't know if you believe it. The trouble is, Rich, that she's pretty much on the money as to how America is portrayed by the media here, and how it... Okay, fine, Stingy. Jesus Christ on a cracker. Okay, that's a message from someone that I have no idea, that looks like it's completely written in Arabic and mentions US dollars and euros. So I'm willing to bet that that's not something that I need to worry about. Delete. Discord. Our only weapons are a can of Mortine and a thong. Yeah, and I should specify, that's a flip-flop. Continue your thoughts, then go. Nah, too late. Thoughts are gone.
I want you to watch this.
Oh, he got stuck in Idris Elba? What the hell did Idris Elba do? She's trying to excoriate Americans and gun culture, but all she's doing, in my opinion, is pointing out that the media is any of the people. Yes, but the trouble is that there are so many people that don't think for themselves, that they would see what they consider to be a mid-attractive chick telling them how to think, and they will follow her beliefs just because she's an influencer. So, no, you're very welcome. I mean, I'm hoping that it's both entertaining and explains a few things. Now, what the hell is this one about? Even in America, Democrats are taught to fear guns, and anyone who has them, it's the antithesis of why we have them. Wait, what's that? Mid, that's far too much credit. Crazy eyes cancel any attractiveness. This is true. Don't stick your dick in crazy. We know this, people. All right. I hadn't planned on watching another one, so I'm going to put this one a little bit quick. I haven't watched this one through, so I don't know what we're talking about. Yes, specifically, we're not encouraged to think for ourselves. Just sit back and say she'll be right. But even the she'll be right is going by the wayside, because the she'll be right is being supplanted by additional cultures coming in and telling us how we should be living our lives. So
it's exactly why we in the gun community don't move one inch on the issue of gun control.
And save lives at the end.
Save lives.
I mean, I feel like the main problem as well for me would be the fact that it's so easy to get a knife.
Yeah,
that's the main issue. It's like I ordered one off Amazon recently, right? Because obviously I want to start to get to my cooking bag, right? So I ordered like these big knives, of course, whatever. And all Amazon said to me was, "Are you because my they said, what's your age?" I said, "I'm 27." All right, thank you, mate.
Enough.
And they just gave it to me, bro. It's like, of course, I know what I'm gonna do with a knife. You know, I'm making food, brother. But it's kind of like it's very unsettling that I can just get a knife.
To be honest, I only go for the full sweet Jesus on a cracker when I'm genuinely shocked. Generally, I say, "Ooh, sweet baby Jesus, Jeebus."
that easy, because imagine somebody that's 16, 17 and they're thinking, I'm going to order a knife of Amazon and it just comes to them. You know, you could just fake an age. It's like there needs to be restrictions.
Kitchen knives are one thing, but the zombie knives are another thing. And the thing is, I think the tech companies have to also sit at the table about how they can help intervene. Because if I say the word knife now in front of my phone, guaranteed somewhere in my timeline, I'm going to see a knife, something's going to happen, knife crime's going to come up. That is an outcome that's not helping the situation. To your point earlier about social media, like amplifying the situation, it's like you can get advertised on your phone a knife, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And if you're 12 and your mum and dad got your iPhone 15 for Christmas, that's your portal to it straight away.
Yeah.
How do I, oh man, I'm going to try it for me. I'm going to try and get this knife.
Is he advocating for control of... Yeah, now he's scared of knives. Putting bans and restrictions on tools does not change the underlying issue. It is not going to prevent the crime. It's not going to... I don't understand why they are so hell-bent on putting restrictions rather than treating the cause issue and the core... I was going to say core demographic there, but I don't think that's... I mean, the demographic kind of is appropriate because it's about teaching kids not to commit crime and taking them out of situations where they grow up and feel like they have to commit a life of crime, or if they have to whatever else, but... He's from the UK and the shocks you all... Actually, that's a good point. And this video is 11 months old. They don't care about the crime, they care about telling others what they can and can't do.
Knife. The point of this video is for me to use this conversation as an example of the conversation that's going on here in America and where the anti-gun lobby wants us to go. Because, you see, the anti-gun lobby will try to sell this idea that they just want common sense.
Common sense? Common sense.
Gun control measures. And when you hear those things, you think, well, they're not against the Second Amendment. They just want some rules to make it harder for criminals to get certain guns like those evil AR-15s. The problem with that is we've already demonstrated over the course of years that AR-15s aren't even used that often in gun violence. They're not even used that often in mass shootings. Yet and still, they dominate the topic of discussion in this country.
For the record, the only reason I'm continuing to drink this is because it was so damn hard to track down and it was expensive.
When it comes to guns. And the people in the middle who are looking at this conversation happening from both sides of the spectrum need to understand there is a goal here. Their goal is to inevitably ban firearms. Think about it like this. You have the UK who banned firearms, and now they're talking about banning zombie knives.
Today's announcement is about these so-called zombie knives. A long blade, often with a serrated edge, a sharp point, and sometimes words or images.
When you get a moment, will you please tell me what software you use to download YouTube videos? I don't. When I'm showing videos on screen, it's almost always live using OBS as a window capture. If there's something that I need for later, I will use OBS to screen cap it. I don't actually download anything off of YouTube. I definitely don't breach the TOS like that, but that's really the most straightforward way to do it. If there's something you need for like editing a video or whatever later on.
Images glamorizing the weapon.
But loopholes in the law have been exploited, allowing these knives to continue to be used.
As of September, new government legislation will hope to change that. Police will have powers to seize knives found on private property.
We have already taken action to make the carrying of zombie knives illegal. When I became Home Secretary, I made the immediate decision to go further. So I'm very pleased we're taking action now and will be determined to get these knives off the streets.
What do you think is going to happen after they ban zombie knives?
They're just going to find something else to utilize in crime. What are you going to do? Wrap us up in laws so tight that we can't leave our beds? Oh God, what if they no, then they'll have to ban pillows in case we start smothering people.
SeedFan85 said the problem is that in everywhere other than Australia, supposedly, citing endangerment to fictional creatures in laws is considered fanciful.
Fair. And thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Start trying to ban swords. Oh wait, sorry. They're already trying to ban swords.
We need a much broader ban, so it's got to include things like the ninja swords and other dangerous weapons as well.
It's never going to stop.
Someone get his sword. Nobody shall have the sword.
Until you can accept that their ultimate goal is to ban firearms, you're going to continue to keep falling for this rhetoric of
common sense.
Common sense. Common sense measures. We just want common sense this, common sense that. They're going to put common sense in front of everything that they inevitably want to ban. That's how this works. So right now in this country, we are talking about AR-15s. Tomorrow, it'll be handguns. Tomorrow after that, it'll be about banning everything that has a pointy edge weapon that they're doing right now in the UK. Because if you ask the government to protect you, the only thing they have to offer is restricting your rights. They get the benefit of saying we're doing something by banning these items while banning your rights, and then be able to go back into that bag and do the same thing over and over again. And then they're even talking about these knives the exact same way that they...
Jill M said just a little too until I get back in 3 weeks. I should be in bed sleeping. Lol, flight is early in the morning. Lol.
Make sure you have a very good time, Jill, and I'll be counting the days till you're back in chat. But for God's sakes, have fun and enjoy yourself. You deserve it.
They talk about AR-15s in this country. They're talking about, oh my God, the zombie knives. Look at these big scary knives. Same way they say about the AR-15s, all these military weapons of war. There's no place in our streets for these military weapons. In a perfect world, what would they want to do as far as the anti-gun side? What would they want to do? Be honest with yourself. And you will realize what they really want to do is to ban all the guns. But they understand that there's a process in this country. There's this thing called the Second Amendment. So they can't just outright do it unilaterally. So they have to get you to give it up. And the way they do this is incrementally. People don't like change. They don't like big change. So the way you get people to change is you make them do little things at a time. Take Nazi Germany, for instance. That was a step at a time. He didn't come into power and just one day say, you know what, we want you to kill all of these people. No, it was incremental over time. And before you know it, you're engaged.
Just slice this one in here for 18 seconds.
A 15-year-old boy charged over a machete attack in St Kilda was on 4 counts of bail, a court has heard. The teen is accused of slashing a man in the head during an attempted armed robbery on January 12. A female accomplice handed herself in and has since been exonerated. The bail application will continue next month.
The most atrocious forms of behavior you could possibly think of. And if somebody would have asked you in a million years, could you ever see yourself doing something like that? They would have said no, because the way you get people to change, so small steps. They understand that. They're playing the long game. They understand if they can get you to ban AR-15s, then they can come up with the reason why, you know what? Maybe we need to get rid of these handguns. And then after that, it's like, maybe we need to get rid of these shotguns. And then after that, maybe we just need to get rid of guns altogether. And then after that, maybe, you know what? Maybe we just need to get rid of these scary looking knives. And then before you know it, you live in a world where you basically have no rights to defend yourself, while you still have criminals out there who are able to use any and everything at their disposal because they get these things illegally to attack you. Let this clip be a reminder. Don't become like the UK. Right now, shop.mrcoleonnoir.com. We just
It's got a damn good point. There's like a problem down there. You better ban sticks too. Yeah, sure. Why not? So, but no, honestly, nobody's going to take away your sticks and stones. Well, I mean, look, they're going beyond that, both here and in the UK, because it's not just sticks and stones that may break bones. Apparently, words can cripple you emotionally. So, everyone should have a home defense cannon. I agree. Ban baseball bats and rolling pins. No, see, the irony, Gigi, is here, for example, if you have a baseball bat or a rolling pin strategically placed inside your house in order to defend yourself from intruders, that's considered a premeditated attack and not a weapon of opportunity, and you can be charged. It's some bullshit. Banning things while doing nothing about people using them is pointless. Exactly. So, grape shot for the win. So, well, thank you for sending me that one too, Stinch. I do appreciate that. That was like 11 months apart, I agree. So that was quite helpful. Imagine all the charges Kevin in Home Alone would have had if he lived in Australia. Cannon isn't a weapon; it summons the town posse with weapons. That, my friend, is making targets of the disabled. Australia hates disabled people, apparently. It certainly sounds like it, doesn't it? Ban A4, paper cuts can be deadly. I'm sorry, I just heard that in Kaiser's voice and that just cracked me up. A defenseless population, subjects, not citizens. Exactly. And I kind of feel that's the way that they're leaning towards. It's that what was the phrasing that Mel Gibson used in The Patriot? Why would I change one tyrant 1,000 miles away for 1,000 tyrants 1 mile away? It's effectively how it feels that things are changing to, honestly. Man, teeth, you could bite off your tongue and choke on it. Play Belandris's video. Oh, I don't know about that. Which one are we talking about? Whoa! Jacob's Proud Madre dropping 20
Jacob's
bucks.
Proud Madre
Thank you.
said gas money for your other gig, winking face 2 hearts.
Actually, that does remind me I need to actually be keeping track when people send through super chats, because I do appreciate each and every one of you for doing that, which means that I need to actually... 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh shit, we're only $15 away from me having to put pants on and get the dog. Wow, that didn't sound weird at all, did it? Where are we? Excuse me. Okay, which... I mean, you're going to have to remind me, which video? Are you talking about the Philadelphia mayor video? Worth visiting the prison weapons museum, making stuff out of stuff you'd never think would work. Oh, honestly, some of that stuff is amazing. And yes, oxygen is dangerous. It causes little tiny fires inside your cells that... Okay.
Let me be a...
I don't know why I've been presented this one. I have no idea what I'm watching, so this could end badly.
Let me be 1,001% clear. Traveling to the Eagles game today is essential travel. If you are driving, just go slow, but get there. If you are catching SEPTA and mass transit, just get on mass transit and get there. But making it to our Philadelphia Eagles game on today is essential. Thank you all so very much, and we now want to take some questions. Any? Well, listen, we've got to do this. Let me hear you all say, E-L-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Let's go, Birds!
Oh my God. Let me ask you a question right now. Are the American, like, grade school English lessons really that bad? Like, is this why so many people homeschool? Oh, no, too far back.
Let's go back.
The majority of people in Philadelphia are illiterate. You think she went to school? I would hope so, but, you know. 13-year-old grandson still can't spell. Oh, that sucks. Well, I suppose you can only do what you can do, because, I mean, like, I was worried that Scarlett was falling behind after kindergarten this year. Well, foundation, whatever the fuck they want to call it. And I bought some books to try and work through with her over the holidays and that sort of thing. In terms of education, Pennsylvania is dead last. She can't even spell DEI. See, the funny thing is, was that ELS, Eagles. The funny thing is, it's not like she can even say that it's like English is a second language, Eagles. She fucked that up majorly. Public schools suck. Someone in the comments said she used to be a teacher. No. She was an English teacher. It's a point of pride to be ignorant. Ooh. Even I can spell Eagles, it's not a trick word or anything. Well, it's not like you in a spelling bee and you've been asked to spell the word weather, and the example given to you is whether the weather will improve. So, you done messed up, Aaron. This is why people make fun of us. We elect idiots who don't have basic education. Well, look, you got 4 years of free reign. Hopefully you can clear out some of that shit. So, because yeah, that's quite horrifying and disappointing. But anyway, LA County schools are trash. I was very lucky to have English be my favorite subject. You can pass tests about stuff you know nothing about if you know enough of how the language works. Didn't she try again and fail again? I mean, it looks like she got to the end of the press conference and that was it, so... Honestly, some shit just... Oh, I'm not sure if I want to get into the... like, the lol suits that are going on that I've seen crop up in the last week or so. I saw that some shit was going on with Destiny. I saw that Legal Mindset was being sued by one of Johnny Somali's friends. I saw that... I'm just not sure if I want to get into that tonight or not.
AP said it's not like she was spelling pterodactyl and forgot the P.
This is true. But to be fair with that face, do you really think she's getting the D either? Thank you very much for the super chat. She had a written speech. Give you an A for spirit, D- for spelling. Sorry, you did not make the cheer squad. That's funny. Mine's is being sued. Yeah, so long story short, one of Johnny Somali's best mates, who's from Korea, is suing him for defamation for things that he's allegedly said publicly. Like, I mean, the things that he allegedly said, which, to be fair, there's video of him saying it on an international podcast. I can kind of understand how he doesn't necessarily have a reputation to defend, in my own personal opinion. But yeah, I'm just not sure I want to get into that today. Yeah, Hank. So. With ideas like buying Greenland, invading Panama, and saying Zelensky wants to make a deal without getting rid of the constitutional amendment, preventing him from negotiating with Putin, I have my doubts. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Still frozen in South Carolina and moved away to get away from the white crap. Well, tell the guy you're jerking off to zip up his pants and show him the door. Oregon got rid of their reading and math requirements because it was racist. Oh my God. If nothing else, like, I do like Elon's influence with Trump, if only because it does mean to me that things will move a little bit more towards a meritocracy, which is what it needs to be. It doesn't matter what race, creed, religion, ethnicity, anything like that. It doesn't matter so as long as the best person for the job is the one employed to do it. And if you want to be that person, you need to strive. You need to educate yourself. You need to know how to do basic math and spelling, and you need to work at it. You don't just get something handed to you. Hank claiming defamation because Mindset repeated what Hank said in an interview. Yes. So, hey, Gem won the catch game. Congratulations. So, it shouldn't be that hard. It should be very straightforward to understand. If you can't do 20 push-ups, you can't be a cop. Don't care what gender, race, religion you are, at least 20. Exactly. It's a distraction. Trump will always be a Democrat in my mind, but he already forced law that benefited me in Colorado. Oh, there you go. Not defamation. If he said it in an interview, he said it right. That's my understanding, Alabama Rose. I haven't looked too hard into it. I watched part of Andrew's video this morning about him being sued and whatever. It sounds like the case itself is pretty well destined to fail almost immediately, just based on jurisdictional grounds. But you know, I'll finish watching it and go through it at some point. So Elon will definitely employ the best. Look at his POE account, top tier. Hello, Ginger. Grounds. So, we'll see what happens. Hopefully there's some change coming. Yeah, go for it. You'll see it before I do. I mean, I only got partway through it, so. Then we got to work out what trials we're going to be covering this year. I still got to try and sit down and do that this year. Judge just approved a $9.6 billion settlement for people who lost family due to Oxycontin. Really? Huh. 7 hours ago. Oh, and you know that, I mean, at least it's permeating internationally because we already have it on the ABC here. Purdue Pharma agrees to pay billions to settle Oxycontin opioid crisis impact lawsuit. Members of the family who Purdue Pharma, the company that makes the opioid drug Oxycontin, have agreed to pay $7.4 billion US or 11.7 billion Australian to settle lawsuits over the toll that the powerful prescription painkiller, according to Attorney General from several US states. The deal agreed to by Purdue Pharma, the Sackler family members who own the company, and the lawyers representing the state and local governments, and thousands of victims of the opioid crisis, replaces a previous settlement that was rejected last year by the US Supreme Court. The deal was negotiated by 15 states, including New York, California, Connecticut, Oregon, Texas, Florida, and West Virginia. Holy shit, and I thought that trying to wrangle like law tubers for something is like herding cats. Imagine trying to negotiate with 15 states. Holy crap. Are there any interesting trials coming up soon? That's what I got to work out. I got to try and find interesting trials that are coming up that not every man and his dog's covering that may be of interest that I can do on replay anyway. The Sacklers agreed on Thursday local time to pay up to $6.5 billion and relinquish ownership of the company, which would be nearly $900 million US. The maximum contribution from the family members is $500 million US, more than $500 million more than the previous deal. The agreement is among the largest settlements reached over the past several years in a series of lawsuits by local, state, and Native American tribal governments and others seeking to hold the company responsible for the deadly epidemic. Aside from the Purdue deal, others worth around $50 billion has been announced, and most of the money is required to be used to stem the crisis. The deal still needs court approval, and some of the details are yet to be ironed out. An arm of the Federal Department of Justice opposed the previous settlement, even after every state agreed and took the battle to the Supreme Court. Under the newly elected US President Donald Trump, the federal government is not expected to oppose the new deal. We're extremely pleased that the new agreement has been reached that will deliver billions of dollars to compensate victims, abate the opioid crisis, and deliver treatment and overdose rescue medicines that will save lives. Representatives for the Sackler family did not immediately respond to comment. Huh. So there you go. Wasn't there just a Brady violation in the Karen Reid case? I don't know. If it happened this week, I haven't seen it. I mean, Reid is very obviously one that we'll be looking at, but I haven't seen anything about that, but that's mainly because I haven't been paying attention. Keep doing this crap and it screws people who really need meds. All right. Did you see where a Colorado forensic investigator was arrested for skewing results going back to 2008 over 1,000 cases? No shit, really. Facing 102 felony charges. Damn. Got video on that?
A former state forensic scientist is now facing dozens of criminal charges after she was accused of manipulating data in more than 1,000 cases. Yvonne Missy Woods is in Jefferson County Jail tonight facing 102 felonies.
In September 2023, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation found irregularities in her work impacting hundreds of criminal cases that date back decades.
Investigative reporter Natalie Chuck has been combing through the court documents that reveal some very serious allegations, Natalie.
Yeah, Shannon and Jessica, and allegations that, if they are true, could have impacted investigations into murder, sex assault, robbery, and more, spanning a total of 15 years. The arrest affidavit paints a thorough picture of exactly how investigators believe Woods impacted cases. And for the first time, we are getting a glimpse into what exactly Woods told investigators as they questioned her about her handling of DNA data. A forensic scientist trusted with testifying in cases against Colorado's accused criminals for decades, now facing criminal charges herself. Yvonne Missy Woods, previously employed by the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, is facing 102 felony charges. She is accused of committing a cybercrime, perjury, 48 counts of attempting to influence a public servant, and 52 counts of forgery. This arrest affidavit reveals investigators believe Woods input data values showing either no or little DNA was present in samples, manipulated data in sexual assault cases to make it seem no male DNA evidence was found when some was, and concealed any testing contamination.
The great irony of this case is that the DNA that brought him into this courtroom should have been enough, but the person that processed it was so flawed and so broken, and her name is Missy Woods, that she presented such a risk that we already had to bake in extra mercy for him.
Just last week, District Attorney George Brockler bringing Woods' name back into the spotlight after a man was convicted of a much lighter charge because Woods allegedly handled DNA at the crime scene. According to these court documents, investigators interviewed other forensic scientists. One flagged Woods' work over concerns back in 2018.
Thousands of cases. Back to, what was it, 2008. And she's been manipulating it for years. So yeah, there are probably quite a few people walking the streets that have committed violent crimes or of a violent nature that they can't be retried because double jeopardy applies, because the prosecutor presumably, unless they can prove the prosecutor knew she was manipulating the data, it sounds like it was on purpose, Aaron. And I'll be, you know what, I'll have to wait and see whether or not they actually put this they're investigating prior to 2008 now. She's scary, Fisher.
When confronted by investigators saying data being deleted was likely not accidental, Woods responded, quote, "You're probably right." This case was investigated by the South Dakota Division of Criminal Investigation, but now it is being handled by the district attorney.
Well, see, the irony, KT, is that there's probably instances of both in that. There are more than likely additional people that were put behind bars for failure to... It'll depend on what she actually entered and what she didn't, and how she manipulated things. This could actually be something we could... I hope this is going to be streamed. I would most definitely watch this.
Attorney's office out in Jefferson County, which is also one of the many counties whose cases were likely impacted by Woods. In a statement, the DA said in part, "My office remains committed to reviewing all affected cases within our jurisdiction on behalf of the defendants and victims involved." Woods turned herself into jail there this afternoon and is being held on a $50,000 cash-only bond. Her attorney had no comment, but Woods will be in court tomorrow morning. For Denver 7 Investigates, I'm Natalie Chuck.
The woman who was once
Look, Rich, if you can have a look at it and let me know, that'd be great, because I'm extraordinarily curious about that one now. Why have they got like a Walker giving the news on this one? Oh, there you go. You were happy that I used Channel 7 and that's the Channel 9 video. So
A former forensic scientist handling some of Colorado's most severe criminal cases found herself in an orange jumpsuit this morning.
Yvonne Missy Woods appeared virtually in front of a judge as her defense counsel argued she be released on a personal reconnaissance bond. Denver 7 investigative reporter Natalie Chuck was in the courtroom this morning and watched alongside victims of Woods' alleged misconduct.
And Natalie, this is a case that rocked the state's legal system.
Absolutely, Micah and Jessica. And now the question is, can you trust science, law enforcement, and the judicial system? That is what the judge says this case boils down to. In the end, the judge denied the request for a PR bond because of the severity of these allegations, but just into our newsroom, court records indicate that as of 4:45 this afternoon, Woods is no longer in jail. One of our photojournalists did see her leaving the jail, and now we want to bring you up to speed with that report. It's hard to miss the irony. Yvonne Missy Woods, the woman once trusted with precious DNA to help solve some of Colorado's most serious crimes, now in the Jefferson County Jail. On Thursday, a judge ordered Woods surrender her passport. He also changed her $50,000 cash-only bond to a $50,000 cash or surety. Woods faces 102 felony charges, accused of committing a cybercrime, perjury, attempting to influence a public servant, and forgery. One of the cases she allegedly botched was the murder of Tamra Dean Harney's father.
When this trial started, we were...
Well, it looks like they set it at 50,000, and then at the most recent hearing, they reduced it. I can't find my Godzilla sound effect. It really has been too long for me since I've been on this, isn't it?
He's pulling his cock out!
Nope, that was the wrong one. Because that is definitely not happening. Never mind.
confident the evidence would deliver a sentence of life in prison until CBI was called into question.
Tamra's dad, Roger Dean, was murdered 40 years ago. Just last week, the man accused of killing him got a much lighter sentence than usual because of Woods' alleged involvement in handling the case's DNA. Tamra was there in the Jefferson County courtroom for Woods' appearance.
I wanted to witness Missy Woods finally coming to justice for everything she's done. She has damaged further all of the victims as well as their families in her actions. You know, what she did, that can never be set straight.
The potential scope of just how many victims here in black and white. The last 20 pages of her arrest affidavit detail 58 cases investigators believe Woods mishandled. Cases of sex assault, domestic violence, homicide, and spanning statewide, from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins and beyond. And her defense attorney acknowledged Woods had friends in court today supporting her. She also revealed Woods was out of the state when a warrant was issued for her arrest on Tuesday. Woods booked a flight back immediately and went straight from the airport to turn herself in. She will be back in court on February 20th. Tamra vows to be at as many court appearances as possible. For Denver 7 Investigates, I'm Natalie Chuck.
To see the impact this case has had on cases as far back as 40 years ago, that is so deeply concerning.
So widespread. Natalie, thank you for that report.
I'm actually not sure what's happened to the peanut. Give me a second. Let me double check that that's. Yeah, no, Peanut's running. I'm not sure why the... Let me see if I can do it manually. Otherwise it might mean that there's something wrong with the...
further.
G'day, MJ. You barely made it, Divin, so I'm getting ready to close this down. MJ, I want to say thank you very much for the raid yesterday. Very much appreciate that. See, the Oscars gave 13 nominations to Amelia Perez, a Netflix musical. There was about a drug cartel boss becoming trans to become a lawyer. Nobody saw it, but it swept the Oscars. What? Okay, apparently I must have just needed to trigger it off. It seems to be working here. I've never really understood the Oscars. It's like it's awarded by critics, isn't it? So it can be things that are given, like the awards can be given to people that have never to movies that have never been watched and shit like that, can't they? Like, unimportant awards, yeah. It's a musical and it's horrendous. Not shocked. Never trusted award shows. No, there's no point to a trust. There's no real reason to ever trust an award show. So, oh, all right. Where are we? Interesting. I expected meme to still be live. Oh well. Whoever pays the critics the most has been a joke since the first one. Okay. There are actors who vote and they all get a copy of each movie to watch. Is that how it works, is it? All nominated by people in the industry, it's a giant circle jerk. Well, in that case, in that instance, I kind of feel like it legitimately is a circle jerk. They have a whole song and dance number called Vaginoplasty. It's utterly horrendous. Well, at least now I know I don't have to watch it, so thank you. Oh. All right, guys. It is 2 a.m. Is it okay if I go to bed? I mean, I will be back tomorrow. Not for the traveling stream, obviously, because it's Saturday for me. But I'll be back to do a regular show tomorrow. All right. And as I said, I'll be trying to splice together some best ofs for during the week until I can build up more of a tolerance and whatever else. Thankfully, going to bed, because at the moment, my time, I'm going to bed at around 10 p.m., which is ridiculous for me. Even if I can stay awake the extra hour, start streaming at 10, end at 11:30, I'm in bed by 12, wake up at 7, I'm still doing well. I just need to get used to not having that hour sleep. The trouble is that, you know, the 4-hour round trip does take it out of me. But at least I'm working on, like, building up a tolerance, but also cutting out a bit of sugar. I've started having protein bars in the drive instead of like a Mars bar because I was, you know, I'm sure that was part of the reason I was packing on weight. Yeah, I think I just need to, you know, sort things out. Yeah, no, if you use jump, these guys here will actually jump up in the air and try and catch stars and stuff. Hang on. There.
It's Master Chef, not Master Bates.
There you go. Some of you has won some stuff, so Oh, all right, peeps. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to everyone that sent through super chats. If you haven't already, just double check whether or not you've hit that like button, whether or not you're still subscribed, because it's actually it is legitimately getting to the point where I'm feeling like I might need to start a new channel, because I do think YouTube might actually be killing this one off. Because I do see that I'm getting new subscribers, and yet the numbers continue to go down, which makes no sense whatsoever. You stream on the way
Stingy
in
said you
sometime.
stream on way in sometimes for us too.
Okay. I'm assuming that was a fat joke. But anyway. Oh, all right, peeps. As always, please remember you are not a piece of shit. You have value and you do contribute to society, especially for being here. I can win. There we go.
Mommy milkers.
All right. You're not a piece of shit. You have value just for being here, and I love you all for that. Stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. Cheers, peeps.
And again, on your way out, please do me the favor, hit the like and subscribe button if you're so inclined. It costs nothing. It's absolutely free, and we'll be friends forever. Bye now.
God damn it.
This shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Okay, we good? We dropped like 14, so okay. Hi. Where are we? Oh, God, that honestly, like, it was fun for the joke, but I was able to drink maybe about this much. Like, seriously, such a waste. I'm like, I thought it was good for the joke, but it's that was an expensive joke. It really was. I might even have to put that in the fridge, which is going to be so much worse tomorrow. How are you guys actually finding the driving streams? Like, is it worth me doing those or not? Or am I better off just like, it's Australia's beer? It's not Australia's beer, and that's what irritates me. I still can't believe that I bought like a pack from Dan Murphy's, our local like alcohol store, and it had a 12-pack of beers from around the world, and you know there was something from New Zealand, something from Canada, something from America, and of course Australia is represented by Foster's. Like, thanks for taking one for the team. Well, you know, shit happens. Remember that you stream on your drive into work, not just on your drive home. Yeah, and look, I think that's probably when I'm going to be doing trial streams, because I mean, why is it so expensive as dirt cheap here? Mainly because we don't sell it here. Like, when I was doing the 24-hour stream, I was going to have to get a 6-pack of it shipped from Queensland on the other side of the country in order to have it as one of the, like, Tears of Fear things. And then it just so happened that I found a bottle shop, an alcohol store that
had a cup. They had 2 slabs of it, and it was on the other side of the state. And it just happened that was near my parents. So when I was driving past, I just happened to stop in and pick up a 6-pack. So watch the replays because the driving streams are my bedtime. Oh, well, there you go. That's fine. On the fence for the driving streams, I listen and watch while I work, so it's not that engaging for me, but don't mark it to me. I'm a freeloader. No, fair enough. When I wake up in the middle of the night, I turn it on and then fall back to sleep. Okay. So as long as it's of actual interest to people, because like on average, they're getting between 300 and 400 views. And don't get me wrong, it's awesome that some days I'm getting almost 100 people keeping me company on the drive home. I just, like, if it's not going to be of value to people, because it still takes effort to set up. Like, not that I'm bitching or moaning. I would rather be doing that than nothing at all, frankly. So, driving stream play while I'm getting ready for bed. This stream's when I'm getting up and taking care of the dog. Okay. Always asleep by then, but there's nothing I can do about that. Well, yeah. I've got to work out how best to, like, if I'm going to do driving to work streams as well, I need to work out how best to sort out a couple of issues. Because obviously with the Starlink, it's powered by the car, and every morning on the way to work, I have to stop to get petrol. So the Starlink cuts out, obviously, which means the stream would go down for a good 5-10 minutes while I'm fueling up, paying, and getting back in the car, and then the Starlink powering back up. Not a huge amount that I can do about that, because either I do that in the morning on the way into work, or I do it on the way home, and either way, one of the 2 streams would be getting interrupted. At least for the channel, I think you need them just to keep the channel going, at least until you're able to build up your sleep. It's probably the right way to look at it, frankly. And yeah, and look, guys, I do apologize that the regular streams have taken a hit, not just because they're not happening, but the ones that do happen don't have a lot of structure to them. I don't have start the stream after you fuel up. Well, that means that the morning stream itself would be about 45 minutes, because that's how far away the petrol station that I stop at is. So, I mean, look, it'd be better than nothing, I suppose, but one of your outlets should charge with no power or leave your keys half on. It will not blow up. Yeah, I don't know. I'll try and work it out. Life happens, it's not forever. No, but it is probably going to be for at least the next probably, 3 years? So I need to find something. I just need to make sure that I'm putting content out that you guys actually enjoy, that you're happy to watch, or you're willing to watch. So, could I help with structuring your regular streams? Been there, done that. If you want to do what anyone else does and send me ideas or content that I can be discussing on the show, feel free to, either via Discord or via email. I can't promise I'm always going to respond, as Jason well knows. But I'll, I try and do what I can, basically. What if you left your car on accessory oil filling? It runs a battery. I think that's actually against the law here. I'd need to double check. I know that the service station wouldn't appreciate it, but I mean, even if I get like a surely there's a version of like an uninterruptible power supply that I can put in the car. Theoretically. Maybe. Hopefully. Yes, I'm not forgetting about you, Stingy. Run a backup generator in the back seat, keep the windows down. Well, I mean, I had a sine wave inverter that I was using to plug into the main console for a while there, but it would get ridiculously hot and I couldn't really run it for the full 2 hours, so. Get a solar generator. I think I've got a solar panel or something like that I can, well, I mean, actually that wouldn't work because when I pull into the service station, it's undercover and not getting any power anymore, but But anyway, I just want to. What I'm just saying, guys, is that in terms of the regular shows, I am sorry that the quality of the content has taken a hit. I'm asking that you stick with me so that when I can iron a few things out, I'm hoping that the content will get better again. Okay? Why is Dwayne Johnson the only man that can make lesbians straight? Because he's rock hard and they're used to riding his face? I don't know. Well, see, KT, the trouble is that there are people out there that don't know that we're in a transition for that. Like I said on the driving stream this morning, there were people that reached out to me because last night I put out that post saying needs sleep and that sort of thing. And oh, it was a joke because the rock beat scissors. People were concerned that I was still grieving for Jeff, which to be fair I am, but to the point where they were worried that I was showing signs of depression because I was sleeping a lot. The sleeping a lot isn't, well, I mean, look, some of it might be because I'm still grieving, but for the most part, it's because I'm dog fucking tired. So, could be running a song or fill a moment while filling the car, a coffee break style interruption. I wonder what would happen. Because StreamYard keeps running even after even if you accidentally log yourself out. So if I had a intermission video that played while I was refueling, potentially that would continue running even after the. That may actually be the answer. KMAC Coin may have actually fixed that. That might actually make sense. It just means that I was always going to be using StreamYard because the tablet can't run OBS. So last night was my first stream since Saturday. Had court early morning, so I just didn't stream. Yeah. Could play a peeing lawyer song. No, well, I mean, I've got my own thing. Like, I've got... Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, after 5 or 10 minutes, people will probably get annoyed and just, like, that'd be the end of it, but... if it works, it works, so... That's actually a really good idea, so... Can you do the stream off your PC and join and control it from your tablet? I looked into that. There are controls so that you can run things. The problem for that would be that I can control OBS, but controlling YouTube, controlling pages, controlling whatever else would be significantly more difficult because at the moment, because I'm running StreamYard off my tablet and I've got YouTube open as a separate tab, I can use the multifunction button on my headset to pause and restart videos and that sort of thing. I'm fairly confident that I can't do that when I'm, like, if I'm terminal serviced into my computer. So... Couldn't you just have a video queued through the stop like you already do? No, so here's the thing. So the way that StreamYard works is that you have to be connected in order to be able to show videos. So if my internet goes down on my tablet, so if the Starlink cuts off, the video disconnects, as does my camera. So unfortunately that doesn't work. I would need to have something. I think uploading the Be Right Back video, that may be the best way to do that moving forward. That's actually probably a good way for me to do it, because then I can just, when I pull into the browser, tap that, log out, the internet goes down, I refuel, start the car. Once it boots back up, I bring it to StreamYard, turn the video off, keep playing. That, I think, might be the best way to do it. Work out the kinks and get the groove back. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. The last week has really felt like back when I first started streaming and I'm flying by the seat of my pants. So, I mean, ideally, I'd like to be able to have the functionality of OBS because we like all this sort of shit. We like being able to use the dollar bucks. We like all that sort of stuff. Actually, I noticed that the owned chat didn't show up. So that's something. I wonder if maybe that only happens when I'm running through StreamYard. Maybe. But yeah, we'll work it out, people. We will work it out. And I will keep streaming as much as I can. The guy that I'm working with, I told him today about the YouTube channel, and like, he just started laughing. He couldn't believe it. People just don't understand. Pull into the Bowser. Yeah, it's in the petrol pump. I assume that's not what you guys call it there. So, but yeah. Anyway, all right, guys. I am actually going to go to bed. So, peace out. Have a good day, and I will catch you all laters.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
I really need like an outro or something for when we're doing this, don't I? Because it's not really enough for me to just turn off my camera and then end the stream. Anyway.